Hello, world, and welcome to our live stream. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Garrett.
I almost said I'm Garrett.
Yeah, well, you know, it's one of those days.
And tonight we're going to be joined by our special guest, The Quaff, but he's just a few minutes late. So until then, we're going to talk about what Garrett is drawing. And I'm going to bring that up right now. What is this thing?
This is a sequence in the book.
Hey, Jake Twister. What's up, man? Good to see you.
Going down, trying to draw weird, complicated shapes from angles that I'm not too familiar with. I should have made the mechs less complicated.
Nonsense. What would the fun in, drawing mechs without them being a challenge?
Extra fucking complicated.
Yeah, extra complicated.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a degree of realism inherent in that, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
As complicated as possible. It's just like real life. Jake says he's slamming fireballs, so it's easier to sleep. Do you mean fireballs as in the
whiskey?
The whiskey? Yeah, the whiskey drink. Bruh. Tuning into your boys. Yes, we are your boys.
Yeah.
And your frequency girl.
Yes.
So we were just talking about
boy.
Garrett being under an enormous amount of pressure to do all of the things all the time. And my heart goes out to him because he has a lot of demands on his time right now. He's got to do thumbnails for the videos. He's got to do the art for the book. He's got to do art for the promotional material. And, I understand. It
occasionally I'm dumb enough to take on other commissions and stuff too.
Yeah, you get underneath the eight ball or behind the eight ball, and you feel like you are going to pop under that pressure. And he said, I'll do all the things if you buy me drugs. And I said, all right, what kind of drugs do you want? And he said the kind from that Bradley Cooper movie.
The Limitless drug.
Yeah, the Limitless drug.
Yeah, just give me the Limitless drug. Oh, actually, did you see the TV show of that?
Yes, I saw a couple of episodes of that. It was I thought it was kind of fun.
I enjoyed the hell out of that.
Bradley Cooper's hilarious.
Yeah, but I also love the TV show. There's the other guy who's in it, and he's just all into like all kinds of crazy sludge metal and stuff. Like the whole soundtrack for that is just like crazy, like sludge, stoner, doom metal. It's awesome.
That's your sound right
there. That's my jam. Yeah.
Jake says, sorry, frequency girl. I'm only here for my altar offerings. That's okay. If it means I don't get offered up to anything, I'm good with that. You can take them and I'll stay here. Sounds good for me. For me, with me, by me. I don't know. It's late.
I was going to say, though, you can have the Limitless drug. If I can have the drug that, what's her name? Scarlett Johansson takes in the movie Lucy.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I want that drug.
Mm-hmm.
The one that unlocks every part of my brain so that I can utilize 100% of it and turn the world into a giant marshmallow.
I mean, this is essentially the same drug. Right?
Is it though?
I mean,
is it though? Not according to Morgan Freeman. One lets you think fast and remember stuff, and the other lets you bend the laws of reality.
Yeah, but maybe that movie just accelerated faster than we thought.
That's
the longer Limitless goes, the more and more that drug gets ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, we did have a TV show, and it did have to have multiple series too, or seasons too, right? In the series.
I think didn't they cancel it after the first season?
Yeah. It wasn't performing up to standards.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, you give it performance-enhancing drugs, you expect it to be able to live up to a certain standard, right? And then, of course, it didn't. So they canceled it. They were like, no.
I love that the moral of the story of Limitless is don't stop doing drugs.
Yeah, right? That is the moral of the story.
It really is. At the end of the movie,
don't stop believing.
Don't stop. Don't stop doing drugs.
Seriously, because
keep doing them.
In the show, one of the girls who goes off of them. Like she suffers horrible, catastrophic organ failure and goes crazy and dies.
Oh yeah. If you stop, you die.
Yeah.
So don't stop doing drugs. I mean,
Jake says the beginning of the Morgan Freeman movie where he's talking about the 100% of the brain, it turned my brain off immediately. And that is why you'll never be able to turn balloons into bubbles, Jake. I mean, bullets into bubbles. Didn't she do that in that scene where she just like turns the bullets into nothing? Or no, she stops time. That's what she does.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna have to go back and watch that movie again, just because Scarlett Johansson being able to defy the laws of reality, that gets me hard.
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, no, I can't argue.
Senorita Sonet, that would be Kayla. How's it going, Dee Dee? How are you doing tonight? I'm glad that you could join us. Is this later hour work better for you? I'm expecting her to answer.
I was going to say, I'm like, you're
because
going to have to.
I have live guests.
Yes. In your brain, maybe.
But if I was able to use 100% of my brain, I could create a live guest.
Them.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Poof, you're here.
That would be a little scary. Don't give Aaron any of those drugs because he'll start manifesting all of the ideas that he has in his brain, and they'll just be weird things crawling around my house. And I'm not okay
in the middle
with that.
of the night. Yeah, you remember the time that I dressed up in that Zentai suit and scared the crap out of you?
That is not okay.
That was great.
It was not great.
That was epic. I think I still have a photo of that. She's doing well. It's good to know, Dee. I'm glad to hear it.
And yes, the later time works better.
Yes, the later time does work. Unfortunately, we are streaming across from some of the other people that we know whose streams we watch. So it's going to be hard to, maintain, I guess, a schedule like this, unless we find that like more of our audience is able to tune in at this time, in which case, hey, sure, we'll keep a 9 p.m. Time.
I don't honestly.
Jake says Aaron's brainworms are anime girls. They absolutely are anime girls.
Dude, that's so true.
My brainworms are my waifu.
Yes. Number one.
Yeah. Watashi wa number one.
Hey man, I'd even settle for some Futurama brainworms.
The Hypnotoad.
Not another brainworms. He eats the bad sandwich, the egg sandwich at the gas station, and gets brainworms. Yeah, and they make him better. But he's got
he gets smarter.
Yeah, and they clean up his body. They all kinds of good stuff.
So I think we have a quaff in the building.
Hey,
how's it going, my friend? Good to see you. So you're in Joe Catapano's house, I see.
Oh. Shh, that's a secret. No one's supposed to know. The
How you doing, man?
I'm the black sheep.
Right. For those of you who don't know, the Quaff has a fantastic project up on Indiegogo right now called Shotgun Samurai. It is exactly what it sounds like. And I heard about this project on the Kami Mark stream. And I was just, hanging out in the chat, and he has his featured campaigns where people come on and they show their stuff. And he said the words Shotgun Samurai, and I just went and I backed it. I didn't even wait for him to finish explaining it. I clicked on the link and I saw a samurai with a shotgun pointed off at, I was just like, okay, that's backed. That's mine. I want it. And you have had incredible success with this Kickstarter or this crowdfunder. So I got to ask you, why comics? It's the question I start off every interview with. There's something special about sequential art storytelling. You can do a lot in comics that you can't do in other forms. So what drew you to this type of storytelling?
Well, basically, similar to what you just said was you can do a lot in this form. And also the amount of manpower, it can be done with only one person.
True.
And
very, very true.
That was probably the biggest reason. Because I first made a comic, and then I made a YouTube video with this character, and then I saw how much manpower, organization, and scheduling it created to make a 15-minute video.
Yeah.
And
funny.
also,
we didn't think of that when we started out either.
Yeah. And then it was also very limiting to basically what I'm realistically can do with money.
Yeah.
And so everything was shot in like just the woods. So then, and then I was like, you know what? I can draw this thing. So I'm just gonna friggin' draw it out, and I can do whatever I want, and I can really tell the story for exactly what it should be. So yeah, like I said, you know, the manpower can be done by only me, so I can schedule whenever I want, and I can make sure this gets done. I don't have to rely on anybody else's schedule.
Yeah, we were just talking about how Garrett is under all of the pressure right now because he does all the art. So
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from, and I'm sure he sympathizes, and I get to sit back and go, "Yep, that's
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you get to rely on yourself. I rely on him, and he knows I rely on him, so he feels very much under the gun, and I get it.
Yeah.
We have to get him some performance-enhancing drugs, apparently.
Yeah, definitely could use some of those. Pass them my way when you get them.
Will do.
Ship them to Joe Catapano's house. I'll pick them up.
Jake Twister says he hopes Serious Sam, Shotgun Samurai, packs Dragon's Breath shells. I believe he does. I think that's kind of the nickname of the sword, if I generally remember. And we're totally going to get into that. But I want to finish asking the Quaff some personal questions before we get into talking about the characters in the campaign and all of that. First thing that I want to know after, the obvious question of why comics, and the answer is always because I can do it myself and it's better. And I don't have to rely on all of these other moving parts and an entire enormous budget to pull off a major motion picture or even animation. The next question I have is, how'd you become interested in comic books? Was there like a particular writer or artist that captured your attention? Were you a kid and started reading? What happened? How'd you get here?
So basically, it definitely started with Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
I am a half weeb because I am half Japanese, so my white half is weeb. So yeah, so it definitely started with Dragon Ball, and ever since actors, I tried drawing Dragon Ball and The Simpsons. Those are the two things that taught me how to draw.
Nice.
And ever since then, I was, I always, doodled. And then in math class, I started, making sequential doodles together and just showing them to my friends. And I guess that's when I made my first official comic. Was kind of just like a daily joke, like strip.
You're, I think, the first person that I've heard say that their inspiration came from a non-Western source, and also that they weren't like diehard Western comic book collectors from the get-go, which is what inspired them. And I really think that's great because it just shows you that comics is such a wonderful medium that it eventually gets everybody.
I think that's also with more the modern era of comics. It's not just Marvel and DC.
Right.
It's the whole world. So it's manga. It is the Marvel DC traditions. It's everything.
It's Western
So, yeah.
superheroes.
I think that's
it's comic strips. It's all the different forms of expression out there. And Jake will tell you all about that.
Yes.
There's the theme song. Yep. From Dragon Ball. I love that.
Great. What does it mean? It's nonsense.
If Adam was on here, he'd probably type out the whole thing, and then Jake and Adam could do a duet and chorus. So you became interested in comic books through Dragon Ball. You were inspired to take up drawing comics because it just became an early fascination. Touching on that, do you prefer Eastern or Western comic books these days? And is there really a difference? What's your take on the whole East versus West versus the rest of the world in comic books? I think he either froze or he froze.
Hello.
Okay, we're here. You're here. We're here.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I asked a question and I don't know if you heard it. Did you hear the question? He froze again.
Oh.
Someone doesn't want this discussion to happen. It's weeb
Yeah, what happened?
I know. They're sabotaging our airwaves.
Yeah, something's going on. This usually doesn't happen. I don't get it.
No, it might be us, or
It's
it might
been that kind of day.
it might be Weebgate.
Oh yeah.
I was just going to say, do you prefer Western or Eastern comics, and is there a difference? Because there's a big contentious debate going on the Discord that I'm on, that comic books are comic books regardless of the kind, even though their formats are entirely different, the materials used are different, how they're read is different, and all of that. You just want you to weigh it.
That's a very controversial subject. I don't know if
Oh, it really is.
Yes.
Is it really?
Dude, you have no idea.
Yeah. So I have I guess I have two stances on this. There's like the very like strict dictionary definition, which is like, yeah, sure, manga is like the Japanese word for comics, so sure they're the same. But now this is my second definition. That in terms of society and like what we think about, there is a clear difference in my opinion. Like in terms of genre, like Western comics, no way. Exactly. They're like people who say they're the same. They're just kind of like being like, just worrying about semantics or something. Like
that's the funny thing, because that's what they accuse us who are saying they're different of doing. You're worried about semantics.
Yeah, no. It's like if someone says, "Oh, it's a manga," there's a very clear thing they're thinking about.
100%.
And someone says comic books, oh, I'm thinking superheroes, kind of like bulletproof men and stuff.
I brought up the idea that it was a saddle stitched, floppy covered 8.5 by 11 format, because when you think comic book in the Western sense, you think the actual printed out floppy style comic book. If you want to talk about like a trade paperback, it's the same dimensions. It's a collected series of those comics. You want to talk graphic novel, you start getting into different dimensions and stuff like that. But when you say manga are almost uniform in size and shape, and they cover like a whole broad variety of subjects, but all within the Japanese cultural mindset. Like you said, it really the subject matter varies between manga and comics because of the society that they come out of. Like we don't have a whole lot of isekai comic books. I don't know. I think superheroes are popular to some degree in Japan, with the whole like
I think with like
Sentai
there's like
heroes.
I think Sentai, that's probably like the Japanese take on superheroes. Yeah.
Jake says I'm in the superposition on it. The medium and media and techniques appear alike, but executed differently based from where it is. That's absolutely, I guess, the point that everybody is kind of coming together on here. And so all the people on the Discord, you know who you are. Take it from the experts on this show that you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay?
And also, like, I think it also requires different, like, storytelling techniques.
Yeah.
Because, like, manga is, like, just usually much quicker, black and white. So you can have more pages and you can take more time to tell the story. But like, Western comics, usually the art is a lot more like, intense. And
well, you could also be a Tomo, and you could take time to to tell your story, but also have these incredibly intense pages. And visuals.
Yeah, you can.
Like you could just decide to draw every freaking panel in a window on a building that's tilted on its side.
Yeah.
But so you're absolutely right. You have like a very fast-paced storytelling in manga where the pages fly by. It's amazing when you talk to people and like, oh yeah, I just finished reading, the last 8 volumes of this series. And you're like, what, how did you make it through that many books? It's because when you're reading a manga, it can go very, very quickly.
It's like a bag of chips, you just
exactly. It's like, wait, they're all gone?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a Lay's potato chip bags. They don't put any chips in there. It's all air.
Oh yeah. That's how you just breathe it in.
Yeah, right. It's just the potato.
Yes.
Did you ever want to be a mangaka?
Like professionally, I mean, it's kind of like sure if it happens, but it's like right now it's more just like a hobby. Like this is like my testing into the world to see if my manga is, I guess, marketable, which it seems like it's doing pretty good. So I'm like maybe, but I'm open to it if it happens to be my course for sure.
I mean, that'd be great. Mangaka really have like that crazy schedule. I don't think Garrett wants to be a mangaka.
No.
Yeah, that's the thing. I always
3 hours a night.
Yeah, I always hear that they're like dying from like not being able to do anything else but draw for like 18 hours a day.
we actually know some guys in Japan who are aspiring mangaka, and we see like approximations of what their schedule is, because until you've actually become a mangaka, you're also working a day job to try and support yourself while you're drawing like crazy and applying to, you know, work in like Shonen or any of the major studios that would accept your work. So once you do get in there, then life is still incredibly busy and you're like held to strict deadlines. And that's another thing about doing comic books. It's like working on it by yourself, relying upon yourself, publishing yourself is great. If you were to go to a studio or to join, you know, a publication house, then you'd have to be marching to the beat of their drum on their schedule. So there's a double-edged sword to it.
Yeah.
I think the reason I wouldn't want to do that is it's very industrialized. It is a very specific thing that's a very beautiful, successful product that's created, but it's not really necessarily a free kind of thinking art form that you can kind of experiment in.
Yeah, you also wouldn't be able to hang out here and go for dips in the pool and play with the dog in the backyard.
But that's also why I think that you know, comics can be both the Western style and the manga style, especially in the year 2021. I mean, we can read manga, we can read Western comics, we can read, you know, clear line kind of like Euro comics, pick and choose the best elements and create something beautiful and wild and awesome.
Very well said.
We don't need to follow that tradition exactly.
Yeah. It's almost like a Champloo.
And I think all the best comics that you see coming out today, all the best artists are coming out today, are really picking and choosing
The
different
Western
elements.
parts and Eastern parts and kind of making a go at it with their own thing.
I mean, I love Stakko. We know this.
Yep.
That dude is absolutely inspired by manga.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see Otomo faces in some of the stuff he draws.
Yeah, and even just the way that he goes about structuring his panels and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I'm getting
We're getting off
I'm
the
getting
subject.
deep.
I guess what inspires you to make comics? That's the next question. Don't worry, we're almost done grilling you about your own personal stuff.
Oh God! All right. Well, what inspires me to make comics? Well, really, my story most importantly, because right now, you know, Shotgun Samurai is just, you know, it's like burning inside of me, and I need to get it out. I need to show people, because it's like, I know this story is gonna make an impact in some way. So I'm just like, I need to draw it, and also I need to read it myself. I want to see it.
Yep.
So that's pretty much the main. Like, if I didn't have this story that I'm so passionate about, I don't think I would be willing to put in the effort to make a comic.
So this comic has also been something that's been in the works for a while. In looking you up, I noticed a Facebook page from back in 2015.
Oh, you found that?
Oh yeah, I vet my guests.
He does his research.
Okay, you do most of the research.
Yeah.
Well, at least I look at the stuff that you
It's
do.
true.
Frequency Girl is very thorough in her background checks. Don't worry, we won't reveal your credit score to the studio audience. But
Oh, you have that too.
oh, like I said, you'd be surprised. But
No, I'm not that good.
that's why we pay other people to do it. But this page was actually really awesome. It had so much stuff about Shotgun Samurai already on it, and it stretched all the way back, 5, 6 technically years now. Have you been working on Shotgun Samurai for 5 years?
Yes,
Wow.
I have.
Garrett instantly switches
One
over.
reason okay. Yeah, because this was also my kind of learning how to make comics too, was to make this story, like make them look like presentable.
Right.
Because I've always been like drawing panels and stuff, but never actually making like an actual book. So I have printed like small issues.
Yeah, we know
that's
that.
cool.
Those are up on Indie Planet, right?
Yeah. You can find some of them on Indie Planet. So right now there is this, because this campaign is going to be everything combined plus the new material that I haven't released yet. So
Yeah,
they'll
it's,
fin-
I was stunned just a quick word about the book. At the price to content ratio, it's like 100 plus pages, isn't it?
200 plus.
200, right? 200 plus pages at 20 something bucks.
$20.
Yeah. So 200 pages for $20.
That's insane.
I don't think I've seen better value in a campaign than that, even in some that have had like 2 or 3 issues kind of compiled together. It'd be interesting to do the numbers on that, because that's really, impressive. But before we get into the campaign any further, I'm going to ask, how did you assemble your creative team? Now, I know you do the art and the story. Is there more that goes into it? I know you have variant covers and you had to pull people in to do those. Is there anyone else working on the book? Do you have an editor? Do you have someone doing inks?
So basically, the only other guy is my friend from college. He's the guy that basically we would just like riff back and forth. And a lot of this was just written from our conversations, just like, oh, and then this, and that, and then, oh, they do this, that, and that. And like, and we planned out the entire storyline, like way in the future. So basically him and I, it's just that we're both passionate about this story. So we're willing to just, that's the only, I thank God for him, because like, if we just didn't click and just that kind of like perfect situation of 2 friends just willing to work on this for nothing didn't happen, then we wouldn't have been able to get this far. Other than that, it's just it's pretty much just us 2, and I'm the one running the campaign and doing all the artwork. So, and the cover page.
It's a creative duo, and you bounce your ideas off of him, and you kind of come up with stuff together, and then you do the writing and the drawing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Nice.
So I think he would be the editor.
Yeah. So he looks at what you've done afterward, and then he kind of tells you what works.
It's just kind of a sounding board for ideas too.
He's a creative partner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with us,
Mhm.
there's some overlap. I'm writing the dialogue, the story, and everything, but he's also telling the story that I'm writing. So we have to have a very solid back and forth go between bouncing ideas off of each other so that it gets drawn out. You get that whole creative process to happen inside your head. And that's, I mean, for me, whenever I encounter solo artists, people that do their own writing and drawing in one package, blows me away, because I can't draw a lick. Having him bring everything to life, bring to life what we're working on. Is
at the same time, it's very overwhelming to have to be.
Go make the thumbnails.
Yeah. Well, no, I was just gonna say the idea of writing up the story and then drawing it all within me it's a lot of heavy lifting on one person. I don't think I could come up with a story that would be worth drawing, and
that's why I definitely need him, because a lot of my ideas are like either too shallow or too outlandish. So then I kind of show it to
you and either help you ground it more or help you flesh it out more. So in that way, he would be like a writing partner or an editor. Yep, that's great.
Yeah.
So let's delve a little bit into the world of Shotgun Samurai. Do you want to load up the trailer so that we can take a look at it?
Sure, I'll stop chatting with Jake and actually do my job.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. I really appreciate
about manga.
that.
Sorry.
I mean, it's a great subject. Everyone loves to talk about manga, except the people that hate manga, and I don't know why they do that.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know why they hate manga. Have you encountered any of the manga hate in our community? I mean, I think it's faux hate, but really, like, there are people who don't like manga. And
I didn't. I actually haven't encountered them yet. I didn't know they existed.
Good. So it seems like it's more of a friendly, joking, petulant hatred for manga when you're talking about manga, but not when you're actually talking to someone who's manga inspired or who has done manga. So that's interesting. It mostly is off to the side. Do we have the trailer ready?
We do.
All right.
It's really cool.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Let's go.
That was fantastic. That was
Thank you.
great. Who cut the trailer?
That was me.
That was
Nice.
you.
Yeah.
Good
Dude.
job.
Applause.
One man army.
Your cuts were dead on with some of that guitar. I mean, like, impressive. Good work.
Thank
Did
you,
you
thank
use
you.
Did you use Premiere Pro or something else?
No, I found something called Lightworks. It's like a freeware.
I've never even heard of it. That's even
Yeah.
better. More power to the freeware, right?
Yeah, it's not bad. I used to use Premiere Pro, but let's just say they caught on to what I was doing, so I can't use it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they're lost, right?
Yeah, they're lost.
What-
Yes.
Jake has a question.
Oh.
Is their trailer inspired by Ava trailers by chance? The cutting feels fast paced like that. Yeah.
Thank you for noticing that. I was going exactly for Evangelion feel. I'm so glad you noticed that.
Jake is in the know.
Greatest intro ever, so of course I'm gonna mimic it.
Yeah, why not?
So tell us more about this world. Tell us who's Shotgun Samurai. Let's delve a little bit into the lore and the characters for those of us,
Okay.
the audience members that don't know.
So basically, the world it takes place in like old like 1500s Japan. You know, when samurai and the shogun warlords were kind of controlling the people. And so take that and then introduce a man with a shotgun. So that's basically where we start.
That's like I said, that sounds like a winning combination to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it
So-
is. Just like that concept right there hooked me.
I know, that's why I have to draw it. It hooked me too. I was like, I gotta draw this.
Where did you come up with that?
That was kind of funny. Like, me and my friend, my partner, creative partner, he needed a costume for some presentation he was doing. And I was like, do you have anything? And he was like, no, I don't have anything to dress up as. And he had like the Japanese, robe. And I was like, well, you have that. And I have a toy shotgun. Why don't you be the Shotgun Samurai? I just spit it out of my mouth for no reason. And then he was like, that doesn't exist.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, that's not a thing. And I said, yeah, exactly. That's my response. I was like, it is now. And that night I drew 3 pages, an introduction, and I was just like, bam, there it is, Shotgun Samurai. And he was like, whoa, we gotta do something with this. And we're like, yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
and you did. You made
Exactly.
you made a series of web comics out of it that
Mhm.
you hosted on Webtoon. You put the physical copies and floppies on Indie Planet, and we'll get to that in a second. But I
Okay.
want to hear more about the main character. Tell me more about him.
Okay, so basically, it's your he's like a typical like Ronin type character, man with little words, on a journey for redemption because his past was not so great. So right now he used to be kind of like a head honcho for the shogun, who's kind of like the big bad guy. And so he used to carry out like the assassinations and like all like the dirty work. But then he realized that he was kind of being manipulated by the shogun into doing like things that weren't helpful because he thought he was helping the country. Turns out he wasn't. So now he's like on his way to he's just traveling around trying to find out how he can ease his conscience, going from village to village, just trying to help people. But there's ghosts from his past who will not forgive what he has done.
Ooh.
So that's where the
turning his back on the Shogun or the crimes he committed while serving under the Shogun.
both.
Ah,
Yeah, the shogun isn't too happy with him, and then there's also people who he has harmed and who want revenge. Enter our villain, the ninja with no face.
Dun, dun, dun.
do we have a photo of the cover so that we can show the ninja with no face? And while we're searching for that, who's the female ninja?
Oh, that's Tofu.
Tofu.
Yeah.
I like her.
Yes.
I think she's going to be.
Thank you. Yeah,
she's going to
she
be a
seems to
fan
be-
favorite. I can tell.
I hope so. Her and yeah, she's kind of like there it is. Oh, there's no the villain's not in this picture. But
Next one.
There he is.
There
The
he
guy
is,
with the
underneath the dragon.
the guy with the metal face, the
Right.
metal mask.
He's almost like Shredder, but not quite.
Yeah, exactly. But so
That damn daimyo.
I like this Shotgun Samurai versus Samurai Cop versus Hobo.
Yeah, I
with
know. We
shotgun.
got to see this crossover. That'd be a crazy crossover.
Totally, for sure. Okay, you want tofu, right?
Yeah, tell me about tofu.
So basically,
Lower left,
she
everybody.
Okay. So she's like the I compare her to kind of like almost like the Vegeta of the story. So she's basically kind of like a reluctant ally to Shotgun Samurai because they have she is on a pure vengeance quest because she also used to work for the Shogun, but turns out she also realized that she was being manipulated for something, and once she found out what that was, she kind of just blew her lid, and she's like, I gotta kill this guy. He really messed with me, and made me do some really bad things, which will be touched upon in future installments.
So this is going to be an ongoing thing.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Excellent.
Good to hear.
I think the next volume I want to explain more about her backstory because, like I said, after making this, I realized that I think she's kind of turning into one of my favorites too. So I was like, I really want to flesh her out, explain more of her story in the next volume.
So this is the mangaka Odi cover, right?
Yes.
She's positioned in the lower left portion of the page. Are you familiar with the phrase bottom left?
No, what's that mean?
We're not going to get into it. You can look it up later.
Oh shoot.
Just look it up later. It'll be funny. It'll spark something and you'll go, oh, okay, I get it now.
Okay.
So she's on a quest for revenge. And she's kind of like a foil to Shotgun Samurai in some way because she wants to take revenge on the daimyo, and he's more or less middle of the road on it. He's trying to right the wrongs of his past, but he's not necessarily trying to just go out and kill the shogun.
Yeah. So early on, she convinces Shotgun Samurai that taking down the shogun is what he should do for redemption. So he's like, it makes sense. So he kind of decides to help her, but he's like still on his own path too. So they kind of butt heads at that a few times. Yeah, because she like kind of rebelled against the shogun before Shotgun Samurai, so she was against him. And then when she found him again, she's like, they're fighting and everything. Then he's like, oh, you left him too? And he's like, yeah. And then, it explains more of it, but that's the gist of it.
Gotcha. They were once enemies at one point, and then they both have found themselves on the wrong side of the law.
Never, Jake. Never gonna happen.
So I have a question about the shotgun. So obviously this is like weird, Tokugawa era, or inspired by Tokugawa era. But he's got a shotgun, and like a modern shotgun.
And that's why it's so great.
Yeah.
Is there anything else in the world that's kind of like pulled out of time, or is that the only element?
I don't want to say too much, but maybe.
Gotcha.
Well, there's Gatling Geisha. Gatling Gun Geisha. She exists.
Gatling Gun Geisha. Well, now there is. I'm stealing that idea.
Abs, go right for it. Go for it, dude. Right ahead. Rocket launcher Ronin. We can do this all day.
But so like is this but it is like a modern shotgun though, right? It's not like this isn't like kind of like a late like
Meiji era.
Yeah, or early Meiji, late Tokugawa, where like he somehow got a shotgun smuggled from the West, right?
Yeah, This is like a modern militaristic assault shotgun.
Because I mean, honestly, I love a lot of the old samurai movies, and like one of my favorites is Yojimbo, and the villain in that has the smuggled 6-shooter, and I think that's it's awesome. But in this case, it is very much a relic out of time.
Yeah.
This is straight up like
cool.
USPS Daewoo assault shotgun. Yeah, I like it.
I modeled it. My original references were the Halo shotgun. So
Oh,
that's kind of
Nice.
where
I
was
can
coming from.
actually see it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
It went through several iterations, but is the Afro Samurai? Yep.
Yeah, there's like a lot of there feels like a lot of influence from Samurai Champloo and Afro Samurai
Mhm.
and just that exciting Asian, Western influenced Asian storytelling. Something set in Asia but heavily influenced by the West with plenty of anachronisms. And I've always found that to be an incredibly fun pseudo genre to experience. I've never written anything in it, so I can't really say I've played around with it, but I've just enjoyed consuming media like that.
yeah.
Other than those, aforementioned properties, has there been anything else inspiring this, or was this just completely out of your subconscious? I've got to write a story about a samurai with a shotgun and his traveling companions.
Essentially, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's hard because it was kind of just like, yeah, from me and my friend, just kind of like really just like, I guess both of our like what we really loved about like, storytelling and like about like this kind of redemption style story, and we kind of just like so there's that. And also I guess you can say I was reading a lot of One Punch Man at the time.
Yep.
So, and I really liked how they really gave the villains, like, really, you can really connect with the villains in One Punch Man.
That
Like,
series made me cry. I'm not ashamed to say it.
Exactly. Well, if you're reading the original webcomic, then, but I have my criticisms of the renewed Murata one, but still good. But, storytelling in the original is far superior, in my opinion. But so I really wanted to do that, and like so that was one big inspiration for our villain, was really just I just love that kind of like tragic, backstory, and then they're really earnestly trying to go forward, but they're doing it in the wrong way. That's why they need to be stopped.
And then you get a character like George.
I love George.
Thank you.
He's great.
I love him too.
Yeah, he's in the very first episode, I guess is what you could call it, of Shotgun Samurai. We get introduced to Shotgun Samurai and George, and instantly their dynamic pulls you in, and you want to see more about this sort of like oddball couple, this really happy and upbeat ramen shop owner, and this stoic man of few words carrying a shotgun. It becomes the chemistry right off the bat is very interesting. Tell me where you came up with George. Did you decide to do like a foil character like that, or something to juxtapose the brooding shotgun carrying samurai with an upbeat character, or was that just something that happened?
Yeah, it was kind of like just me trying to express my own like I guess kind of like lighthearted attitude in such because it is kind of a very like it kind of almost drab, like Shotgun Samurai is so like stoic and just straightforward and always just looming about his past, like I gotta fix my past, kind of thing. So I really wanted to balance that out with someone just like living in the moment, just kind of like
yeah.
You gotta do. I mean, all like great like shonen animes do that, right?
Yeah,
or shonen manga. Like,
that's kind of what I was getting at.
Kenshiro's got some like young kids that hang out with him, so he's not like totally.
Right. He can't just be completely.
Guts has Puck who hangs out because the Black Swordsman's way too intense,
way too serious. Yeah,
with,
super edgy. You've got to have something to brighten the mood. I was going to say, was that formulaic, and did you pursue that, or did it just kind of feel natural? Because I'm sensing that it felt like the right decision. It wasn't like you were writing according to the admixture of things or trying to follow a particular storytelling formula. From what I'm getting from this is that you consume media and of these various types, and it just becomes a part of you. So the decisions that you make in the creation of it all feel natural. It's almost like you're creating the story off of reflex because you've been trained by the media that you consume. And I think that's great because it's like natural talent. You know, like you're just organically, I hate the word organically, but you're organically creating a story that fits in this genre of stuff that you've gathered up and synthesized inside of yourself. I really like that. Slugs of the North Star with the hint of ramen.
I mean, really, everything is better with a hint of ramen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the page. This is the campaign page, right?
Correct.
All right, let's go up to the top and take a look here.
All the way.
Just hit home. Just hit the home button. Yeah, there you go. So we're looking here at a $500 flexible goal, which means that it doesn't matter whether or not you hit this goal. Whatever you raise, and you've got to put the book out. And it was a $500 flexible goal. So it's almost like we really don't care about making money on this. And whether we do or we don't, we're going to put the book out. Was that conscious on your end? Was that exactly what you were going for?
Yeah, I'm kind of my personality is kind of like, you know, just dive headfirst into whatever I'm doing. And you know, and then that's how I learned most of the things I did. It was like, just do it. And with this, I have most of the book already done. You know, I've already dabbled in like printing. So I just figured, you know what, I'm probably, you know, with the 500 goal, I was like, yeah, if I take a loss on this, you know, I need like 10 backers for that. You know, if I take a loss, okay, it's a learning experience, but I really want this book to be out in the ether. So that was kind of my mindset behind that.
It almost feels like, since you'd already done the one of floppy issues, compiling it into a trade with the additional material was kind of like the next step in the evolution of this book. And that needed to happen one way or another, which kind of leads me into my question before we really talk more about the funding of the campaign. Why crowdfunding? I mean, you've got it on Indie Planet. You hosted the thing on Webtoons. You could have set up like a Patreon system where your patrons come to you and you provide them with printed materials. I know that's worked for a couple of other campaigns or creators out there. Why crowdfunding?
Well, basically, I feel like there's a lot more energy in crowdfunding. Like a lot more, you know, people talking, kind of going like, ooh, yeah, let's do it. Like with Patreon, like I don't have like the I can't, like, it takes a lot of like consistency with Patreon to like really pump out like, oh, I promise I'll do this amount of artwork at this amount of time. Because like my schedule is kind of, you know, like one reason I waited for the book to be mostly done is so that I know I can get it done on time, because my schedule isn't like, because I have a full-time job. I wish I could draw it all day long. So that's why I couldn't really do Patreon, because I was like, I can't really do that. So I really like the idea of like a couple months of focused marketing and campaigning, and like, and then I just kind of like hit to the books and just kind of, you know, hole away and finish out the work, and then I produce the book.
And then
so I kind of like that.
Yep. And you get
so
people to have a time to digest it. And there's a whole, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, no, yeah. I just like that cycle, you know, like of different things happening, I guess.
And then once it's out, you get to have people read it, digest it. And by the time they're craving more, you've got the time to be writing, drawing, and creating again. Maybe there's like a less busy time at work. I know our friend Tim has cycles at work where he's like super busy doing, you know, things at a certain time of the year. And Dojo-kun is the same way. He works in taxes, so he's got like a crazy time of the year where he's super busy, and then on the off season he's got a lot more time to be writing and drawing and making art and stuff. And I think it's a really smart way to go about it, just kind of going on your own circadian rhythm of creation. I really like that. So $500 flex, because you're going to do it anyway. You are now at 836% of your funding. How does that feel?
Kind of mind-boggling.
Why mind-boggling? I mean, you set out to do this because it was going to be cool. You knew you were making something cool. Yeah. Why didn't you expect cool things to happen?
Oh, well, I mean, I expected like maybe I was hoping like, oh, you know, my pipe dream was like 1,000. So I was like, mostly because like, I don't know, I've never really, because, you know, like, to make this kind of book, I kind of had to shut away from like society for a long time. I didn't really know how people would receive it like so much. I was like, I love this thing. I think it's the greatest, but will other people? And then when I
you actually get that validation of people saying, yeah, this is something
You're
worthwhile. So I
speaking right to my heart right now, my friend.
Mhm.
I feel the exact same way. I shut myself away to take on the creative process of plotting it out, writing the story and everything. And I'm living inside of my own lore, loving it. And then I poke my head up and I'm like, I don't know if anyone's going to like this.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's going to be successful at all. I might just be publishing this for me.
I know. That was kind of like, I was like, if I can make this thing at least for myself, then I'll be happy. So that was kind of like how I set it out.
And everyone else was like, well, we want it. So you're going to make it and you're going to make plenty of money on it. And the rest of that money is going to go into making Shotgun Samurai 2 and continue the story.
Almost 10 times.
Yeah. Almost 10 times
goal.
what your goal was. Are you hoping to push for 5? You got 2 weeks left.
Yeah, I'd love to push for 5 for sure. Like,
I think it'd be really cool if we could get you to 1,000% funding. I think that that would be just right there. $5,000, 1,000% funded. You know, I think that's a good place to be. Do you want to take us through the campaign a little bit with the tiers and the stretch goals?
Sure.
All right.
So in terms of like,
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so in terms of tiers, like I said, since this is my first book, I really just wanted to make it simple. Like you can select the books. You want we have 3 different variant covers. Jose Garcia, who was just recently picked up by Ethan Van Sciver and all caps to do a cyberpunk book. So
yep, he's a great talent.
Yeah, God, he blew me away with this. Like,
yep.
I'm so glad I got him before he got too big. So, and
he's
then
also got Lumina Vox, right?
Yeah. He's got Lumina Vox. He's got a book coming up soon.
Yeah, he's going to be super busy. I was looking at your cover. I was like, oh man, I want one.
I know,
but
right?
he's probably got a lot on his plate.
Yeah, I think so. I'm sure everyone's like clamoring at him right now. And so we have the Jose Garcia cover, and then we have Joe Ball, who's done many things. He's also. Yeah, and you know, like he has a book Mothman right now on In Demand. He's done he's done a lot of stuff for like John Malin and everything.
Preston did the alt cover on Mothman. We actually got the original line art version that he did. The original pencils, freaking gorgeous. Preston's amazing. But yeah, Joe Ball is another incredible talent. How did you pull in Jose Garcia and Joe Ball? How did that happen?
Honestly, like, I think it was just right place, right time kind of thing. I saw Jose, like, I've been eyeing Jose for a long time. I was like, I think he would be perfect. And then I saw him saying like, hey, you know, I'm open for commissions or something. And I was just like, I'm pulling it right now.
You are. You are indeed.
Not anymore. You're close.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm scooping them. And same thing with Joe Ball. I put like, I guess I got him. I found him at like a downtime when he was like open for like a few commissions, because I just posted like, hey, I need some cover work. And then someone was like, why don't you contact Joe Ball? And I was like, that's a great idea. So, and then
yeah. And then there's this mangaka Odi cover.
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
So yeah, this is a mangaka Odi of Xenotype fame, and he's also on doing something called Tomahawk Angel right now. It's like over 60,000 followers on Instagram. He's blowing up so fast right now. Yeah, and it's kind of right place, right time. I just saw him. I've been eyeing him for a long time too, and then I just saw him say, hey, I got a space for one commission. And I was like, I am taking it.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
It is mine. So you really are just I don't want to use the term too loosely, but you're like a poster child for go get it if you want it. You know, you want to make a comic book, go do it. You want to get variant covers from really big creators in these communities, go do it. Go get these people to work on your book. Don't let anything stop you. Don't be scared. Don't doubt yourself. Just go do it. I think that's amazing. That's probably why you're so successful right now, is because there is just an attitude and a perseverance to you that's you're not going to be stopped. You know, you got out of your own way.
Thank you.
So you got a 2-book tier where you can get 2 books. Is there a particular cover choice there, or can it be just 2 of any of the covers?
Originally when I made this, those were the only 2 covers I had.
Mhm.
So it is the mangaka Odi and the Joe Ball cover. But if anyone wants to switch them up, they can just send me a message and say like, "Hey, this is my backer number. I would rather have these 2 covers instead."
Cool.
So
Very,
you
very
know, yeah. So I'm just kind of loose about that. And then I made the 3 book variants if you want all 3.
Mhm.
And
That's looking good.
oh yeah, and also all of these have add-ons for trading cards.
So the trading cards, tell me about those.
So they'll show up a little bit down the road.
So the 4 books is the highest tier you have?
Yes.
Why, and I'm going to ask, why don't you have any of the original art listed as tiers?
It's all digital. So
The covers too?
Those Joe Ball is the only one that has original art. I didn't think to ask him for it because I didn't know that's what thing people do.
Sometimes cover artists like to list their original art commission and sell that original art if they're the ones that still own it on the campaign. Because if the campaign's popular enough, it's almost like they can double dip on, you commissioned the art, you have the right to use it on your cover and everything, but I still retain the physical rights to the paper. And now I'm going to sell it on your campaign, which gets you above funding, but it also lets them pick up, $300, $500, whatever, and I get to sell that actual piece of art. And it's a really great way for a symbiotic relationship to exist between artists and the people that hire them. And I see your face right now. If you put, if you contacted Joe Ball and you said, "Hey, I want to put your art up on the campaign," I can guarantee you someone would buy that.
Oh yeah.
Just straight guaranteed. So you might want to reach out to Joe and be like, "Hey, do you want to sell this?" Or maybe he's donating it to a art auction. Who knows? Maybe he already has plans for it. But
I'll check out with him for sure. I like that idea.
Definitely next time around when you do it, if you want to try and get people who work in a physical medium to do you something like that, then you can offer the originals, and you can always offer those at like a much higher tier. One of the things that I've noticed with people doing campaigns is that if their highest tier is like $100, and they have a $5,000 goal, it's going to be very hard for them to get there. You didn't have that problem. You had a $500 goal and your top tier was $75. You did it perfectly, and you cleared way above what your goal was going to be. But getting higher value tiers is an important part of making your campaign that much bigger. That might not be something you're really that concerned about, but it is really a cool thing to also have like original art from either the book or from the covers. And like you said, if it's digital, you can't really do pages from the book.
He also partly says that because he likes to own original art.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's not like I have an addiction to buying original art pages or cover pages, line work or pencils. I don't. I'm not addicted to that at all.
Step away from Indiegogo.
Right. She's gonna have to shut down my account soon. Spending all the rent.
Credit card down.
So
The trading cards.
yeah, the trading cards, stretch goals. I was just checking my notes here. I'm sorry, like my
I know, that's why I
gears
was
stopped
jumping back
turning because
in.
I was thinking
You got a
about
halting
variant
problem.
cover art. Yeah, halting problem, exactly. We're not gonna back things on Indiegogo. No.
No, we are.
Tell me
It's
about
okay,
the stretch goals. Tell me about the sketch cards.
So these are the trading cards. This one is a Shotgun Samurai titular character trading card with art by me and colors by Farah. Sorry, I can't say her. I can't pronounce her last name.
Very well covered or colored.
Yeah,
I love
she
the
is-
glow.
Yeah.
I love that glow. That's so good.
Yeah, she also colored the Joe Ball cover, so I was like, I got to get her back for this because it's like she did an amazing job, especially with like really heavy blacks, which is kind of how I do my artwork too.
Yeah, I got to say, I know it's manga style to do it, black and white, and it almost feels like, I guess, homage to the medium that you're doing it that way, in black and white. Would you ever consider doing Shotgun Samurai full color?
I mean, it's always a consideration, but it's not like something I'm so eager to do.
Right.
Because like, I personally prefer black and white. I find it easier to, for me, I just find it easier to follow what's going on if it's just simple black and white. But if people want it in color, I'll look into it.
I mean, hey, I love everything in color. I personally think that Shotgun Samurai is well suited for black and white because it almost does have that manga feel, and it's 200 pages. That's not going to be a slim book. It almost like announces that it is manga inspired. So doing a colored version of that would feel like a betrayal of the medium, in my opinion. But if you were going to move forward in a more graphic novel sort of way, the colors on these pieces are so good. And seeing him in color is just so visually striking that I could definitely get behind seeing a colored version of Shotgun Samurai.
In the future, I would like to, way in the future, if these campaigns start pulling in 10K kind of stuff, I'd like to get ash cans done by other artists to get in different styles.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so we can really see Shotgun Samurai in kind of like this kind of style.
Have you gotten any fun fan art of Shotgun Samurai from anyone?
I've got a few.
Nice. Are you going to feature them in the book, or do you tweet them out? Do you circulate them, show them off?
I definitely tweet them out and circulate them. I was thinking about running a fan art campaign, but seems like a lot of people are doing those right now, so I might wait. But but yeah, I definitely tweet them out. I love getting the fan art. It's great, especially
fan art's fun. And when you get someone else drawing your stuff that you came up with inside your mind, and they like it enough or are inspired by it enough to actually take some time and make their version of it. I mean, it makes me giddy. I don't know. There's something about that. You're a fan of me enough to draw the thing I created in my mind. Oh, that.
It's it's my baby, and you like it. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna draw a picture of it. So this is Tofu.
Drawn by
This is my favorite sketch card. I love this.
Oh yeah,
her expression is just amazing. I love it. Can we get a little bit closer in on that?
Yeah, this is done by Nerium. She's doing Bonds right now.
Oh yeah, we backed Bonds.
Yeah.
It's a good campaign. It's a good book.
Yeah, I snagged her right before her campaign launched. So I was like, hey, you do manga stuff.
Smart. You also had the time. Yeah, like you said, right place, right time.
Yeah, and I mean, thank God, she nailed it perfectly. She got Tofu's character and expression spot on. I was like, that's exactly what she would look like.
Stabbing someone in the eye.
Exactly, and she would be screaming.
She would be screaming. Yeah. So it looks. I mean, this campaign looks like it's a lot of fun. Is there a sketch card of George?
No, not yet.
If you break 5K, will you do a sketch card for George?
Sure, why not?
Don't tell me that.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh my.
Yeah, that could be my next stretch goal, because I was like, I gotta do something for 5K.
Dude, I'm not joking. A sketch card of George in the ramen shop, eating ramen, however you want to do it, at 5K, the crowning achievement would be a George sketch card.
Have you ever seen the old movie Tampopo? Oh. I know Jake Twister was gonna be like, yeah.
Jake knows what we're talking about. It's phenomenal. It's Ken Watanabe when he was young.
Do you know what I'm talking about, or? Yeah, because that one's my favorite, because it's a whole quest to make better ramen. So you could always take some kind of scene from that for inspiration for him.
Yeah, Tonpopo. And it's crazy. There's gunfights and martial arts, and it's is it there?
I mean, I don't think there's necessarily a gunfight. The gangster gets shot at the end, but not a gunfight.
Not a gunfight.
And I think there's a fist fight, but not really a.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I had to put the
addition of Itchy Stabbing Scratchy show must have been lost in the memory hole.
I had to put it up on the screen because I was about to cackle.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, he's given the hands and stuff.
That was deep.
Oh, Dee Dee's given I can't see what the little icons are. Those are some sort of hands.
They're
don't know.
like
I'm
preach.
I'm a
Yes.
boomer.
The best.
If you want to reference Tom Popo, Wonton Soup by James Stokoe is Tom Popo in space.
That's great. Yeah, that's funny.
So-
One of my the villains in one of the movies we made on YouTube is called the Wonton Wanderer. So
I like it. That's
Very good.
fantastic. So we're gonna try and see if we can get you to 5K in 14 days.
Okay,
You're
okay.
just around like 800 and change away from that, right?
Mhm. It's
Might
what,
be
like-
something we can do if you announce that you're gonna do a final stretch goal at 5K.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, I'll do that.
So, is there any advice you'd like to give first-time creators out there, people who are just starting off, trying to get into comics, into crowdfunding, and into indie comics online? What would you want to do? I know you're a first-timer yourself. What was the most helpful advice you received?
Definitely networking. Like, I guess it depends on how far along they are. If they've already drawn the book, then networking. But if they have a hard time, this is the thing that really clicked for me. I was with a friend, and I was just saying, like, I just drew like some of the book, and I was like, I really want to finish this book, but I don't have time. But I don't know what to do. But I don't have motivations, and I was having all these excuses. And then he just said, the only reason you don't have a book is because you haven't done it. And I was just
There.
like,
Such simple,
Wait,
pragmatic
what?
advice. Punch
Yeah,
you in the
right.
gut with that. Ugh.
yeah.
You're right. There's no argument.
And
there.
I was like, whoa. So like that night, I was like, the only reason I'm not doing this so I'm just gonna do it. So then that night, I just started drawing, and then I was like,
Started cranking.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like
That's what broke the levee. The levee
Yeah.
broke, and just the flood of inspiration and creativity came out. And it was that moment that you got out of your own way. Like I was saying before, you got out of your own way, and you made it happen. That's
So when you said that, I was like, that's exactly what it was. Like the only I keep telling myself that. Like if I ever have doubts, it's like, oh, should I contact this person? I don't know. I'm like, wait, no. The only reason you're not gonna do it is because you don't do it. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna do it then. And I just message him, and then it's like, all that stuff. Oh, should I really network with these people?
yes.
Yes, you're not gonna
It's
get their contacts if you don't message them.
It's funny because that's yet another conversation that we were having prior to the stream tonight. Was do we contact this person? Aaron's like, just do it.
Yeah,
already.
we're
Why
at the
didn't
point
you
in
do
our own
it?"
campaign where we're looking at our variant covers, our guest artists for sketch cards, pinups, and that kind of stuff. So we're in the phase of the networking phase professionally, not just like in the community and YouTube and on Twitter and Kickstarter and Indiegogo, but like the professional networking phase. And of course, there's a little hesitance to be like, oh, I don't know, this person might be out of our league, but you're never going to know unless you ask, right? And
Exactly. Yeah. Like
you're living proof of that, right?
yeah. Like honestly, I didn't realize that some of these people were out of my league at the time when I messaged them.
To be fair, man, I don't think most artists aren't out of anybody's league, right?
Yeah, you were just saying this the other day
Like, this is
about,
what
about
we're-
Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah, well, right.
Mhm.
And even if we weren't in indie comics, we're still talking about comic books. It's a pretty niche industry, and I think sometimes we look at art. Hey, like artists are artists. They will hang out and talk about samurai with shotguns. That's like what everyone wants to do. So I think it's a good thought to just shoot for the stars, So I think that's good. I love the fact that you got such talented people working on your book as
Mhm.
And
it elevates it.
Just determination to get it done. Like
Yeah.
you wanted to do it. Once you
Mhm.
wanted to do it, it got done.
Thanks. Yeah, that's true. And yeah, that's what I found out. Like these these artists, but then after they're all fun.
Garrett
They're all
was
looking
saying-
for work too. So it's just
He was
like,
saying they sweat and they fart and they're people. Just remember.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly how you said it. Like they
Yeah,
sweat,
seriously.
they fart, they're people.
Yeah, honestly, anytime you're like really worried about a celebrity, just remember that they also fart. So they can't be that cool.
It can be, that lofty.
They
and
also have a
pristine.
butthole.
Yeah, they have a butthole.
yeah.
Great. On that note, everyone's got a butthole.
Oh, yes.
It was really fun having you on. I enjoyed our conversation. When the campaign is over, do you want to come on again and just talk about the experiences briefly, and sum it up and talk about what's next for the Shotgun Samurai?
We could also grill you with less questions. We could just kind of hang out and joke and laugh.
Usually these are kind of interviews where I want to learn more about everybody and find out who they are, what makes them tick.
I think your questions are fantastic.
Well, sometimes there is something to be said for just chilling out and shooting the shit.
I guess. Yeah, totally. I mean, this is a lot of fun.
Cool.
Love hanging out with you guys. So
right
for
on.
sure.
Yeah, we liked having you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So where can people find you on Twitter and Instagram and all that other stuff?
So right now the best place is Twitter at donkey_madness_ or Instagram Shotgun Samurai Comics. But I'm there rarely. And on if you just search Shotgun Samurai on like Google or YouTube, you should be able to find it pretty high up on the list. And also shotgunsamurai.net is my website, which will always point to whatever I'm doing.
You can find the floppies for individual purchase on Indie Planet. You should pick up the trade with the bonus material on the Indiegogo campaign. We're going to link all of this in the description for you.
It's already there.
Because Frequency Girl is amazing at her job. And yeah, I think that's everything. So for all you people out there in TV land, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications.
And tune into the Frequency.
We'll see you next time.